your body take control. You're on my mind, baby. Just move a little closer. And I say, oh, it's the night we'll both remember. Oh, sweet surrender. Oh, we're moving close together. Wanna make your body
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? It's Thursday. Yes, FTG Thursday, and I found this gem that who is it? What's the guys in Mythic something guys? The guys out of Milwaukee. They found this gem of a lecture from a professor at Penn State. That's the feature on the show today. But because it is FTG Thursday, I have been trying to find things that we could FTG some people about, and boy, oh boy, do we have some of that, and in spades. So let's just let's get the intro done with, and we'll start the show because I'm running late. Another day, a long day at UPS this morning. So here we go. Here's the intro. Play the intro, if you will, please, Johnny. Pow. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. All right, stop that music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Thursday, the 10th of June, 2021, and this is the 609th episode of the Morning Night Live. But you know what? Whether it's the first or the 609th, I'm going to give you the same quality programming that I try to do on a daily basis, and I think I succeed in that most of the time. At least I hope so. I hope you enjoy the show. That's why you keep coming back. Well, so we've been hearing a lot about how our kids may just be being indoctrinated a little bit. And I found the other day I was watching the internets and found a little blurb by, I don't know if you're familiar with Farron Cousins, but he was complaining about how one of the speeches at his kid's graduation in Pensacola, Florida, was indoctrinating his kid, right? A 5-minute speech by a Republican senator who made a passing mention of the challenges that kids had this year and how the poorly thought out response our government did, according, because of the stupid 19, right? And so the senator had one line in the speech where he said, the dumb response with the mask and this and the social distance learning, you've had this challenge, he was talking about the challenges that these kids go through. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I think it's important. It is actually, it's important. I want you to hear exactly what the guy said, because this is it's kind of wild that this stupidity of a reply happened. So let me, let's see, here it is right here. Where is it? Here we go. So if you're not familiar with, Farron Cousins, also known as bald fuckface, is what we tend to call him. Hang on a second here. Why is this not doing this? Oh, I know why, because I haven't hit this yet. Let's try that. There we go. All right. Also known as bald fuckface if you watch HB. This is Farron Cousins on the right here, and he's complaining about Doug Broxton's speech to some high school students, right? So at this site, they have a clip of it, and let me show you what the, let's see, do they have the whole thing? Yes, here it is. Here's what he's mad about. Listen to this.
While he was in the hospital,
oh, wait a minute.
He referred to a book that he had read called Balcony People by Joyce.
To meet your needs.
Here we go.
And I think that stress and celebrate.
All right. Let's forget to
seats or all right, son. Just about family practice here.
All right, hang on. I should have had this queued, but I didn't. That's my apologies.
Someone outwork you. saying, how stupid can government...
Okay, here it is.
And I think that stress continued this morning. Wow, what a senior year. Like no one ever expected. In a recent survey, they asked people what was the most stressful thing that occurred in the past year. The public related to the loss of the Pensacola Bay Bridge, and I think that stress continued this morning as you tried to get to the Civic Center. The second was the pandemic.
So here's the reason he said that is because one of the main bridges in Pensacola got hit by a barge, and so it ruined all the traffic patterns in Pensacola. That was one.
And number 3 was Hurricane Sally. But for you, the pandemic had to be the number 1 and the most staggering consequences. And I'm certain many times you went home saying, how stupid can government be, making you do the things that you had to do. Canceled classes, distance learning, loss of sports, social distancing, contact tracing, quarantining, and worst of all, wearing a mask. Unprecedented challenge, demands, and sacrifices, but somehow you have survived and you're here and ready for the next stage of your life.
All right, so this is the line that got Farron Cousins all riled up. And so what he ended up writing about this is, excuse me, not writing, but he had this, he has this whole diatribe here about this. Now listen to this.
This past Saturday morning here in Northwest Florida, I attended my son's high school graduation. Packed auditorium. You know, last year they couldn't really do graduations. This year the class was able to have family there. There was no restriction on the number of people. There was obviously no mask mandates, unfortunately.
Now, it's funny he says unfortunately. In that last little clip, did you see anyone on stage wearing a mask? Because, look, there was no mask mandate, right? Which he says unfortunately. So, even though there was no mask mandate, was there a mandate against wearing a mask? If you wanted to wear a mask, Farron, you could have done that. I don't give a shit if there's a mask mandate. If you feel uncomfortable without a mask, put a mask on. But that's not the point here. Listen to this.
One of the speakers, by the way, at this graduation was Republican State Senator Dawg Knight.
Now, Farron Cousins does not like Republicans, as many of you already know. He hates Republicans. So that's the real thing that probably pisses him off here. But listen to what he says here.
And Dawg Knight, when he gave his little speech, told the kids, number 1, that the past year through the pandemic proves to them that the government is incompetent.
Now, where in that speech did Doug, whatever his name is, Barons or whatever, say that the government was incompetent? He did not say that. He said that one of the biggest challenges for students who are coming back and forth to school who are probably thinking in their own minds that the stupid things the government made us do because of this pandemic, and it was a big challenge for those students. He didn't say anything about the government being incompetent.
The government,
and by the way, the government is incompetent.
Is incompetent. The government that he works for and he helps run here in the state of Florida, because Republicans control the state legislature.
Was he talking about the state government? Who was bringing down these mandates? Who thought of the mandates? It wasn't the state government. The state government just kind of followed the federal guidelines, right?
He's in the controlling party, and he's like, yeah, we suck at our jobs.
I heard none of that. And that's the only part of the speech where he mentioned anything about government, that the fact that the government had all these mandates, okay, and that for students, it probably felt stupid that you had to wear a mask, you had the social distancing, you had to cancel classes, you had no sports, you had none of this, and this. So as a student, yeah, you'd be like, this sucks. But Farron can't seem to parse it out because it's a Republican speaking.
Of course, he didn't say we. He just meant the federal government, which, by the way, during most of the pandemic was also your guy, Donald Trump. And then he told the kids in the same breath that The fact they had to wear masks to school this year was ridiculous. Ridiculous that you had to wear masks.
Did you say that was ridiculous? Maybe. But was that one of the challenges the students had during their senior year, that they had to wear masks, they had to have social distancing, they had no sports, they had this. He listed a list of things that were a challenge for the students. And yet, Farron just seems to just want to bitch because this is a Republican.
It's how terrible that you have to protect yourself and other people during a pandemic. My God, if that doesn't just encapsulate what the Republican Party is all about, to hell with everybody else, I want to do what I want to do, then I don't know what does.
Anyway, he goes on and on and on about this. But anyway, I just thought that was an interesting little blurb, how he twists what the purpose of that part of the speech was, just saying, hey, this is one of the biggest challenges you've had this year. And maybe it seems stupid to you that the government made you do this. Was he wrong? Anyway, so he's for some reason he's changed his name to Farron Balance, but FTG, Farron Cousins. First FTG of the day. F that guy. Okay, all right, now. It's not really where I wanted to go at the beginning of the show today. I just happened to remember that before I really wanted to get into what I wanted to get into. But before I get into that, I got to say good morning to everybody. I haven't done it yet, and that's kind of my thing. I got to say good morning to everyone in the chat. So, and by the way, welcome for those who are here. I don't know why we're so light today. Maybe it's because I started late and I didn't get my notifications out. Maybe people are just getting tired of me. I don't know. But I am so happy that the 19 of you are here that are here. And while you're here, hit the like button, hit the share, and all that stuff that you do. I appreciate you. All right. First in chat today was our extraordinary Discord server, administrator Gunfox61, who gets the bell. And thank you for being here right on this, Johnny on the spot. Also, good morning to Somnambule Nation. Thanks for sharing the show out. Good morning, Ronan and Maddie, probably in the background. Also, Thomas Cleaver, who says first, well, almost close enough. I appreciate you being here, Thomas, of course. Also, good morning to All You Need, back again. Nice to see you. Attack Alpaca. And there is Maddie right next there, right there. Also, good morning, Keenan. Advocatus Diabli, the Devil's Advocate. Select a boy. Yeah, also, boy. Good morning to, let's see, I saw somebody else here. Jonathan Peterson, People's Front of Canada, infamous one, Green Badger Outdoors, Sand, Scribe Light, Dog Thrapple. Nice to see you, sir. Also, good morning. Always lost in someone else, aka Alone. Did you just flip me off? Well, I flipped off everybody sort of, but I blurred it, so you can't really tell, can you? If you saw the thumbnail, yeah, Also, good morning to Assassins of the Gray, and I think that may be it so far. Moonbase Radio's in the house. Chris Cole, what's up? BFF means Mensa Maoist. I'm not sure what that means, but good morning. How you doing? Also, Renee Mayette. And people are slowly popping in, so just keep chatting, and I'll get to you there sometime. Also, Wikipedia snippets in the house. Nice to see you. So anyway, if you're lurking or working, driving, thriving, please keep your eyes on the road or on your machinery that you are. If you're working any heavy machinery or whatever, I do appreciate you for listening. Throw a comment in the comment section after the show. Also, everything that we talk about in the show will be in a single link in the description down below if you want to go back and read further on some of these things. All right, let's get into some other things here. By the way, if you look at that, I have an article where the YouTube pundit decries panhandle lawmakers. Oh, here's the part that pissed me off about that too. So he calls this, Farron Cousins says that the speech, by making that one line about the government and the challenges of COVID and what the government forced you to do as students during your senior year, he called that indoctrination. Now look, the guy gave a 5-minute speech, and the rest of it was just typical, good luck to you, this and that speech from a graduation. One line in a 5-minute speech, Farron Cousins calls indoctrination. Now, I had to ask myself something about this. I said to myself, Can a one-line sentence in a speech at a graduation, the last day of school for every senior in that high school, how on earth could that be indoctrination? Now, I could have sworn that a vast majority of these seniors in high school who are graduating, so it's their last day of their last, of public education that they, well, I was going to say they don't have to pay for, but they really don't pay for it afterwards either. But anyway, the last day of school of their senior year in high school, right? A single line in a graduation speech could be considered indoctrination? Really? You don't, because he's saying, well, Republicans are always complaining about, the schools being indoctrinating their children, and then he comes and has this line, a single line in a 5-minute graduation speech. That's indoctrination. Wait a minute. You think one line in a graduation speech on the last day of a senior's school, public school experience, after 13 years of public school teachers teaching these kids whatever the hell they want to teach them? You think that one line is indoctrination? If you think that's indoctrination, you're a moron. A single line. Oh my gosh. Anyway, by the way, I do have my cup of reparations right here, and I absolutely need it. It's been a long morning. Anyway, all right, now next, speaking of schools and what people are being taught in schools, and there's a whole lot of debate going on in our nation right now regarding things like, well, critical theory and critical race theory and teaching people to be anti-racist. And so this is Myth Informed MKE, Myth Informed Milwaukee, I think that stands for, found this little clip of a professor at Penn State University giving a lecture on, apparently, well, I do have a copy of the lecture. I have the full lecture. It's called Sociology 119 live stream, class number 13, and the class is called White Discomfort. And it's a packed house at Penn State University. And this particular clip is what I found fascinating. This is the part that they clipped out of this lecture. Let me just show you this. Listen to this, because this is fascinating. And then I have a couple comments about it. And this, oh wait, so what's the professor's name? Hang on a second. The professor's name is, let's see, where is it? Let's see, maybe it's right here. Class, okay. Let's see. Oh, Dr. Sam Richards. His name is Dr. Sam Richards. And apparently this guy doesn't have much, hasn't done much writing or whatever, but it's the, let's see, welcome live stream, an innovative sociology course taught by Dr. Sam Richards at Penn State University. Sam creates an engaging participatory classroom environment to allow students from every background to step into worlds other than their own. He also invites you to join in from wherever you are, and he welcomes your personal viewpoint. I don't think he's going to welcome my personal viewpoint, because I think he talks straight out of his butthole. But anyway, here's the part that I found super interesting. Here we go. Now, MKEs, not to be confused with MREs. Yes, you do not want to eat MKE. That would be quite filling. Anyway, all right, let's listen to the good Professor Sam here, and listen to this clip here. It's about 2 minutes long. We'll go through it. Here we go.
How is it to know that you're walking around with that kind of benefit, that kind of affirmative action?
Well, like, I don't want to. I mean, like.
Hang on a second.
I guess this could be all tied into. Like,
I want to go into this deeper, because he's. I want to listen to how he talks to these two kids. Let's go actually into where he starts talking to these two, because here we go. All right, here we go. Let's start here instead. So he's bringing a couple kids down to lecture the white kid on how he has so much privilege.
Dude, how about you? You want to volunteer? All right, come on. Do you have freckles? Oh, yeah, you got a lot of freckles. All right, man.
Whatever.
You can just sit up here for a sec. Dude, what's your name?
I'm Tim.
Tim, are you a freshman?
Yeah.
You got that shirt at the convocation. What's your name, bro?
I'm Miles.
Miles? Yeah. Dude, and where are you from, bro? Jersey?
Bruh, where you from,
Baltimore,
bro?
Maryland.
Dude, I was wearing one of
the professor. Hey, fellow kids. I'm gonna call you bruh because I'm a fellow kid.
those shirts last week because I was at the convocation last week and I took it to Columbia with me. So I was wearing the same thing, same color. From New Jersey, from Baltimore. All right, listen, man. Let me walk you through something.
By the way, this is what's being taught at your local state universities and maybe in some of your high schools and maybe some elementary schools. Let's just listen.
No difference between me talking in an inherent, fundamental way. Now, there's no difference between me talking about his freckles and me talking about his brown skin. There's no difference.
Oh, isn't there?
If I bring students up in the front of the class and I line them up between those who have a lot of freckles to those who have very few freckles, and I line students up according to those who have really darkly pigmented skin to really lightly pigmented skin, there's no difference. Because all we're talking about is hundreds of thousands of years of human Homo sapiens passing on their DNA and then their bodies adapting to certain climatic conditions and a range of other things happening.
These kids
That's
are all taking
all
notes,
we're
except
talking
for the guy on
about.
his
And in
phone.
fact, by talking about skin at the same level we talk about freckles, fundamentally
Why
what
is he
I'm
touching them?
doing
Good point.
is doing what people say we should be doing, which is not seeing race. You've grown up in a world, in particular, where you've learned, hey, if I see race, if I talk about race, if I talk about this guy as black, and by the way, in one of the groups where people were really struggling with what we did in class a couple weeks ago, one of the people who was really struggling with it tripped over saying the word black. I'm like, dude, you can't have a problem talking about these issues and not be able to use the word black when referencing somebody who's black. It makes no sense.
I don't understand the camera work either.
So we've grown up in this world where it's like we have learned, hey, don't talk about Miles. Oh, wait, don't talk about his hair. Don't talk about his eyes. Don't talk about his skin. No. If we talk about any of that stuff, that's going to be like we're walking in the world of racism. But we can talk about this guy's hair, and we can talk about his freckles and his skin and all sorts. And somehow that's okay because that's not politicized. And yet we're supposed to not see race. Dude, if you're supposed to not...
I don't know where they say... I'm not sure where they're supposed to say you're not supposed to see race. So I'm not sure where he's going here, but I know where he's going here because I've already watched this. But here we go.
Not see race, that means you can talk about it. If you're comfortable with it, you can talk about it. We talk about all sorts of things with him. We talk about our ears, we can talk about our lips, we can talk about our eyebrows, our noses, anything. Because it's all the same. There's no difference between his skin and his skin. Miles' dark skin and his freckles. There's no difference. Except that what we've learned is, oh, hang on. There's all these political things that happen, and so let me, this is like the third rail. Let me not really touch this. Oh, but we can talk about freckles. Freckles are cool.
But no. But that's all we talk about right now. And we talk about, well, let's see where he
doesn't really matter. Like freckles,
I'm going to stop interrupting.
Right? It's all good. What I'm teaching is no. As long as you don't hierarchically organize, meaning saying like, hey, freckles or non-freckles is good. Not having freckles is good, or having freckles is good, or not having brown skin is good, or having brown skin is good or bad, or whatever. As long as we don't do that, all we're talking about is just differences.
So who is still talking about whether or not one's skin is good or not? It seems though that what he seems to be taking away here, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but he's saying that everyone's categorized by those things and not by what their individual accomplishments are. Now, do people have stereotypes of certain things that they see? Of course they do. But the idea that nobody mentions race or nobody talks about it, that's all we talk about right now. That's all we talk about. And we stop talking about individuals' character and things like that.
It's when we start to organize the differences, like, hey man, dude, what's your name again? Tim's hair. Oh, but Tim has better hair than Miles. Clearly. Like, oh, I'd rather have Tim's hair than Miles' hair.
Nobody would rather have Tim's hair.
Yeah, I don't know. Black people's hair, there's something about that. Miles' hair, I don't really know. Dude,
nobody cares about
now
hair
you're
anymore.
moving into the world of racism. Now you're moving into the world of like, oh, come on, man. But talking about it is what it is. And when we don't talk about it, once again, it elevates Tim and it holds Miles down.
How?
That's what happens.
How?
And I'm saying that
Here's what they're teaching you. Here's what they teach right now. They're teaching black kids that you're automatically going to be held down because of your race. This is what this man is teaching. And the farther he goes on, you're going to hear it more and more and more.
No. We're going to.
And is that a good message for people of color? No, it's a terrible message. Just like it's a terrible message that tells some white kid that he's got privilege because he's white. Oh, does he have to? I guess he doesn't have to work hard anymore, does he? Incredibly stupid.
Talk about this. I'll put it all out in the open. So here, you guys, can you stay up here, you guys? Are we good? Wait, do you have any?
Oh, gee, you're the professor. Obviously, you're going to tell them to stay up there until you tell them to go. What else are they going to do? They're freshmen in college who don't know any better.
Thing to say, first off, about what I just said?
Not really. I mean,
How is it having freckles, dude?
well, they get really bad in the summertime. Like
No,
a lot
bad?
worse. Not bad. Like I get more.
More. Hang on.
Go to the beach. Yeah.
But you said bad.
Well, I don't know. A lot of people.
Hold on.
Like this summer, I went to the beach and I came back and I was first really sunburned, but then after that, like my freckles, like they get like there's more. Like it just happens. I don't know. And then
Because they get
people
more
pointed out.
numerous.
Hmm?
They get
Yeah.
more numerous.
Yeah.
More pronounced. Dudes, hang on a sec. But you said bad, though, so I just want to walk on that. Because a lot of people who have freckles don't like having freckles. Because we've been taught that we should have clear skin. Am I right on that? Am I like pushing on something that's not true for you?
I mean, I don't really care that I have freckles. It's just like,
Okay.
He said, when he says bad, does anyone else but me say he's saying that they're more pronounced as opposed to bad? Just they're super more pronounced. I don't think he gives a shit that he has freckles. I don't think anyone cares that he has freckles. Kids with freckles are hated by other kids. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now I guess he's oppressed because of freckles, right? Good morning, Tarai Deos. How you doing?
Okay. But for
Hi,
a lot of
Lindsay, what's up? Nice to see you back. Lindsay of the Cynical Geek. You changed your name. Hello, Cynical Lindsay.
people, they do.
okay.
Okay. And one of the things that, like, we are what we are. Okay, but that's cool. Do you have anything you want to say, bro?
I find it interesting how you bring up the point that basically preference is how we rate like racism, because once preference comes in, we can view it as racism, because like some people might view that having white skin is better than having brown skin, but that's racist. But basically preference is kind of like the key thing.
Well, where does
Are there any people with brown skin who think it's better to have brown skin than white skin? Is that racist? I don't know. It's good. That's my good question, P-Dawg. I don't know. I should be in this. I wish I was the guy in this class because I'd have said a whole bunch of stuff.
preference come from, man? Where do you think it comes from?
I guess it's kind of rooted in like human history and mankind. Like we always look to have like what we want.
Yeah, and where does what we want come from?
Basically our background, I guess.
It comes from the world around us. Yo, man. You see,
man.
like, here, let me walk you through something. When I'm talking about, if I'm talking about skin color, or I'm talking about your eyes, or I'm talking about hair, it's all the same to me. It doesn't matter. When I look in a mirror, I see perfection. Because perfection is 200,000 years of my ancestors passing genes down to get to me. And I can't change it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have plastic surgery. My hair turns gray. It's great. It's turning gray. I'm not going to change it not to make it not gray. It's straight, so it's straight. If it's curly, it's curly. If I get freckles, I get freckles. If I get whatever, it doesn't really matter. There's nothing. It's 200,000 years of evolution.
But wait till he asks the
and so,
question.
But what we do is we live in this world where we judge ourselves. And it's like, I should be lighter. I should be darker, because the world is telling us. The world creates the preference. If I said, listen, y'all, right, let me tell you something. The sexiest human being in the world is the ideal person in the world is 3 feet 8 inches tall, 3 feet 8 inches wide, and you grew up thinking that, and everybody around you was saying the same thing. It's like, oh my God.
Here, let me pause for a second. Thank you, Rodline, and welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. Rodline, first sponsor of the show today, who says, with almost 5, aka $4.99, saying, colorblind, I've never said that I don't see race. It's just not a metric I use in dealing with someone. Hey, that's where I'm trying to get at, and most people don't. Also, what I believe is most people don't spend their entire day thinking about their race or other races. What other people do? They pretty much deal with the people that are around them, regardless of what their race are. And so it's but these, for whatever reason, well, he's moving this to a direction where race is determines things, and when he gets this example, there's an example he gets to here that I'll make this point. Thank you again, Rodline, for sponsoring the show. If you want to sponsor the show, you can do that through Streamlabs or YouTube Super Chats. Thank you.
Look at that person. He or she is 3 feet 8 inches wide and 3 feet 8 inches tall and fucking awesome. Like, oh my God, so sexy and beautiful. Like, oh God. And like really thin hair that's like, so you can see the scalp, and it's like gray at the age of 20, and like, oh my God, and like huge ears like this, you know what I mean? And like, oh God, that's amazing. That person, oh, how awesome. And they'd be on the cover of all the magazines, and they'd be the movie stars, and you'd be loving it.
You know, it's funny as he brings this up. In most cultures, in most cultures, the most fit, the most athletic, and young people are usually the things that people aspire to, except when it comes to elders. Whereas elders are thought of as wise in most cultures. Elders are thought of as seasoned, learned, whatever. But there's a natural thing in evolution where during the age of fertility, the most fit, most, I guess, athletic, I'll use that again, are the ones that are most sought after, because it's natural for someone to want someone who would be a good provider and or bearer of the offspring, and that happens in pretty much in every culture, and also throughout the animal kingdom. The strongest, toughest male lion gets all the bitches, so to speak. Anyway, thank you, Selector Boy.
Yeah, boy.
For the 5 spot through YouTube Super Chats. It says, those two fellas on stage had asked for a refund after that speech. Yeah, you've heard nothing yet. Hold on. Because listen to this. Because let's keep listening. I'm going to stay on this speech, and I'll get to the other news if I do. But this is, I just want to go through the part with these two guys, though, because there's something he says later on that I want to refute.
Because you were taught to love it. Everything that we love and that we prefer, we've been taught.
False. Again, when it comes to And this is throughout the animal kingdom. It's particularly within the realm of reproduction. There are butterflies that show their most glorifying colors, right? Or the peacock has the biggest fan, and that what attracts the other peacocks, the female peacocks. And it's throughout the animal kingdom, and including humans. There's certain natural features that humans are attracted to, regardless of the race. Okay, so and it's not necessarily taught. So, and in fact, when people babies looking at people who have smiling eyes. Okay, babies like that. It's before they're even taught. Anyway.
Fuck. Okay, so listen.
So
let me do something here real fast. All right. So check this out. Do you have, can I use this really fast? Okay, gentlemen, we're going to do something here. While you're up here, we're just going to do it with me. All right. So here's another tester study. You take this, you take this. So I'm going to go back so you can. That's square. Okay, so check this out, right? You ready? There it is, man. Oh, totally it is, with one blinking eye, like we're rocking. Okay, so this is why this stuff matters to Miles. It really matters to Miles.
Doesn't
and
it
matters.
Now wait a minute. Now here's something fascinating. This professor pulled Miles out of the audience, knowing nothing about Miles or the other kid. He doesn't know anything about these two kids. Didn't even know their names. They're freshmen in a class that he's never met before, and he's assuming something about Miles because of what? Because of the color of his skin. Now, Miles is from Baltimore. Where did the other guy from? I think he's from New Jersey, right? He doesn't know what part of Baltimore. He might, for all he knows, Miles. Of course, Miles got into Penn State University, so Miles must be a fairly smart dude, right? But he's assuming because Miles is black that he's assuming certain things as the professor. He touches everybody, it looks like. Just to answer your question, Zach. By the way, good morning, Zach. He doesn't know what part about Miles could be the son of a state senator for all he knows. Miles could be the kid of a very wealthy tire company owner, or a chain of Goodyear stations. Or Miles could be, who knows? He doesn't know anything about Miles. And the other kid, for all he knows, just because the kid's white, he makes assumptions. Oh, he could have grown up on the wrong side of the tracks in a trailer home and is at Penn State on a scholarship and gets food stamps and all kinds of other stuff. Anyway, thank you. Black Hebrew Israelite, nice to see you.
That's right.
And welcome to the show. He says, congratulations on the future addition to your clan. Thank you so much, Black Hebrew Israelite. Yes, my daughter is now engaged to be married to our very favorite of anyone she's ever dated, Jess. We love Jess so much, and we're glad that is happening. All right, let's keep going here. But he makes assumptions about Miles because of the color of his skin, and I'm pretty sure that. That's racist! So anyway,
that we take these things seriously. So here's one study.
It's more important to Miles too that we take this seriously than it is to the other kid, because the other kid's white and it doesn't matter. But to Miles, this is extremely important.
That's racist! And we've replicated it, so it's done many times. So let's say this is your interview, this is your resume, and this is your resume, okay? And we get these two guys and they're actors. And we dress them exactly alike, and they're not alike. They're not dressed alike, but they will be dressed alike. So imagine they're exactly dressed alike, okay? And we train them. So you're the same height, You're the same weight. You wear the same clothes, everything. We teach you how to walk. So we teach you exactly how to walk, exactly like one another. We teach you how to shake hands. It's like, okay, that's good. And you look in the eyes for 3 seconds. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it? 1, 2, 3. Hang on. You got to be a little softer because you don't want to be too hard. We're going to do it exactly like 1, 2, 3. Yep.
Oh, so Miles doesn't know how to give a firm handshake, so he's telling the white guy not to give a less firm handshake. Real great.
Everything is going to be the same. Okay? And they have resumes. So he's got a degree from Penn State in engineering, and he's got a degree from University of Georgia in engineering.
Wait a minute. I thought they were the same. I thought they were the same. Penn State and Georgia. What if Penn State has a world-renowned engineering school and Georgia just has a, your everyday run-of-the-mill college engineering school? How about making them both from Penn State?
Or let's say Michigan in engineering, and they're going to go for these jobs, right? And they're exactly the same. Their GPAs are similar. Everything is the same about them. Everything. You got it? Everything.
Now here's where he's going to make the mistake.
And we make it exactly so that when they go in for an interview and they start talking to people, they have the exact same things that are going on, okay? So now, we send them out to apply for jobs. And one of them has a felony drug record.
Wait a minute. What happened to them being the same? Now you're making them completely different. Good morning, King on Common Law. Hello, Terai Deos. Wait a minute. You've just changed them. They're not the same anymore. God.
On the resume, they talk about it. Felony drug record, conviction. And the other one, and then we switch it, and the other one doesn't. And we switch it back and forth. So sometimes it's Miles, sometimes it's Tim, all right? And then we keep going back and forth. Are we good? So we never know who it's going to be. And so we know, let's be clear, because this is a class on race relations, and we've evolved very far, but we haven't evolved as far enough, probably. So we know the most desirable applicant is Tim without a felony drug conviction.
On what basis? On what basis does he make that claim? Is there? I hope he's showing the research here.
Conviction. Okay? That when he goes in, the two of them go in, and the white guy doesn't have the felony drug conviction, they're going to be more likely to be interested in him.
Are they now? In today's day and age, do you know how many job offers, if they had the exact same resume and the exact same GPA, and let's say they both had very high GPAs, they both had the exact same resume, they're both from the same school. Believe it or not, right now, in this day and age, because every company is dying to have diversity, I guarantee you, if they're the exact same resume, exact same GPA, exact same everything else, the black man would get more job offers. I'm telling you just from my own experience. And this is not new, because companies are trying so hard to show that they're woke and try to get, good, they're trying to get a good employees. If you have the exact same, resume, that's why I'm so glad my kid went into computer science, because he got out of school and boom, job offer. Boom, he had a job offer before he got a job offer his end of his junior year in college, and he's still working for that company making a shit ton of money. Because companies are recruiting minorities. So the idea that this is the most desirable, if they're the exact same, I got one of these for you.
Okay? It's a given. Come on, man.
It's not a given.
You got it, right? You should know that by now.
It's not a given. And now what are you telling every black student in this auditorium? You're telling every black student in this auditorium, it doesn't matter what you do at Penn State University, because you're not going to get a job, because they're going to always pick the white man.
You're fucking a white male!
Get the fuck out of here. You got to be kidding me.
Right? So Miles is going to get the hands up. Who's the second? Who's the second most desirable applicant?
On
Is it going to
what
be
basis?
Miles without a felony drug conviction? Or is it going to be Tim with a felony drug conviction? Who's it going to be?
I guarantee you it's not Tim. You are out of your fucking...
Who's it going to be? Dude, who do you think, man?
It's going to be me.
I don't know. Who do you think?
Well, like, if it's a felony drug charge, I feel like he doesn't have one.
Yep.
Well, like, I would want to say that he should get it, but I don't know if
You think? What do you think, bro?
I think I would get it.
You would get it?
Yeah.
You're going to get it over him because he's got a felony drug conviction.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, here, hold on to that. So listen, man. So here it is. Here are the data. Percent receiving callbacks. So without a felony drug conviction, 34% of the white guy versus 14% of the black guy. 17%
Exact same
of the white
resume?
guy
I doubt
with a
it.
felony drug conviction get called back versus 14% without. So Miles, you're thinking it's going to be you without a felony drug conviction? No. It's him. So listen, my friends. Have a seat
again,
really fast.
he doesn't have the...
Listen.
Where's the data coming from? I want to see this. Is this from a... Is this from a... Is this from a survey?
What do you think
How
this
do they know?
class is about? What do you think this is about? You think Miles thinks he's coming to Penn State. He's going to get a fair shake. Peter thinks he's coming to Penn State. He's going to get a fair shake. Right? White people. You understand what happens when we as white people say, hey, I'm not comfortable here. I think like you're pushing it too far. I think like maybe we shouldn't talk about these issues in this way. Maybe this is really,
What was Farron Cousins saying about indoctrination? You just told a whole room of students, doesn't matter if you come here, you're not going to ever get a fair shake. What kind of attitude is that going to give somebody? Unbelievable.
I'm not really digging this. I don't really like this. I'm like, really? Really? Tell it to the other black students in class. Talk to them about that. Talk to them about how, like, hey, man, I don't really want to talk about this stuff.
I want to know where that data is
I don't
from.
want to go too far. Or I don't like the way you talk about it. Look, you know what? I don't like the way that we discriminate. And yet we're not willing to talk about it and take responsibility.
I'm curious if they've done this similar study with Asian students, engineers, or with Indian students who are engineers, or any other race. Is it just black and white? And I want to know where that data is from. I want to know specifically where that data is from, because I know for a fact that because of the fewer numbers of black people coming out in the hard sciences and the engineering and things like that, that recruiters are dying for these people for people who look like me to become parts of their companies, because they all want diversity. They're all getting pounded on this idea that you must have diversity, and so the number of job offers. I bet you the number of job offers for the black kid and the same exact resume would be higher than the white kid. You know, there was that thing where they had a couple software engineers just blindly talking to each other. It was a black female and a white male. And they were in the pretty much the same job in the same company, and they came in and then they went and compared salaries. And the black female started at $25,000 higher than the white male. He was working $120,000 a year and he was making $95,000. Same job, same tenure, same everything. So where is this data coming from? I'm just curious.
Dude, look at that. So Miles, coming here he's your classmate. He's studying at Penn State.
What is he studying? And because I also want to know, when they say that they're the exact same resume, where's this study from? Are they sending two students with the exact same resume out? I always wonder that, because, you know, when we always talk about like wage gaps between different demographic groups. So you see a wage gap between women and men, okay? But is it in the exact same jobs? Okay, if they're in the exact same jobs, the exact same time, the exact same production, there is basically no wage gap, okay? Other than based on the numbers of hours that people work, amount of production people have, okay? And that's true in just about every profession across every other demographic. If people who are working the exact same job, same production, same hours worked, generally make the same amount of money, same tenure, generally make the same amount of money. So it's not about that. It's not about what their resume is. And I doubt it. In engineering, hard science like that, I'm not buying this, okay? Now, if you're talking about different, yes, it is Penn State. If it's different, if they have different majors, different levels of success, yeah, there's probably is going to be a disparate, especially the felony part. I just don't buy it. I'm again, they didn't show where the data came from.
What's your major, bro? Computer science? What's your major? International politics. They're both your classmates. You assume they're both going to get treated fairly. You assume...
You're assuming they're not. Oh, God. And a computer science major, I guarantee you, he's in a hot field right now, and there's plenty of black computer engineers who code anyway.
All good.
We're
going to pick the best person for the job. Dudes, we can't even go that far. We would pick the white guy. This is only one study of many, many, many studies.
You didn't
in which
cite the
we've
study.
controlled for everything, yet we're still going to pick this guy over this guy, even when this guy has a felony on his record.
Now I've heard of a study like this, and I think it was done in, I want to say, maybe 2010. I think. I'm still curious about this.
And that's why it's important that we go into these dialogues and we go into these rooms and we have the kind of contentious conversation.
I'm curious what he thinks the solution is of this, though. Who's doing this hiring that they're choosing the white guy with a felony? I just don't know.
That we need to have, because otherwise, like, where are we going to go, man? Dude, how is that? This is one of many steps. How is it to know that you're walking around with that kind of benefit, that kind of affirmative action?
And then
well, like, I don't want to, I mean, like, I guess this could be all tied into, like, the idea of, like, white privilege and everything. And I guess it's just, like, I mean, like, I don't think it should be true. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't really know what to think of it, but, like, it's just...
And what can he do about it?
I don't want to say it is what it is, but, like...
What can he do about it?
It doesn't...
If, let's say it is
seem
true.
like the statistic, like, it's not changing. Like, it's... I don't know.
So it's confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing.
It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
And yet it is that way.
Yeah.
Is it?
And yet you're going to, when you get your degree, when they hang you your degree, bro, here's Tim. Here's your Timothy. What's your last name? Eimer. So they're going to call your name out, and you're going to walk across the stage. And
Okay, wait till they ask the other Miles his name. This will be funny.
It's going to be Timothy Eimer. And you're going to walk across the stage, and you're going to shake a hand. Here, you take that. You're going to shake the hand, and then you're going to get the degree. You're going to like, yeah. And your parents are going to cheer or whatever, and you're going to have this degree. And you're going to think, oh, yeah, I fully earned the degree. I got it. And I deserve this, and I deserve everything that comes to it. Yeah, well, you know what? What's your last name, bro? Davis? Dude, Miles Davis?
Oh. Miles Davis, that's awesome. Okay, let me ask you another question, too. So we've been hearing a lot about companies, especially the tech companies. Okay, this guy's coming out of Penn State University. Computer science is his major. Going to be a computer engineer or software engineer or something like that when he graduates. And you think about what you hear about companies like Google, Twitter, a lot of the tech companies. A lot of tech companies are super woke, right? and they are just fixated on race. So you think Miles Davis, the young black gentleman who comes out of Penn State University with a degree in computer science, do you think he's going to be highly sought after being a black man in computer science when they're constantly looking for diversity in some of these tech companies? It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to finish this up because I'm going to...
Same thing. Miles Davis. And Miles is going to walk across the stage, and he's going to have the same thing. He's going to get the degree and shake a hand and go like, yeah, and his family's going to cheer. And everyone's going to be like,
Sorry, I had to do a little Miles Davis tune there.
you're going to be at graduation, and you're going to assume that these two guys are equal, and they're fucking not equal. It's not. We are not there, my friends. We are not there.
And I beg to differ. I do. Sorry, don't buy it. So that is what your kids are being taught. And you know what? I swear to God, if I went in and said, my son or my daughter is at school, and they tell them that they're not going to be able to succeed, they're not going to get a chance because of the color of their skin, I'd be a little freaking annoyed. Then why are all these black kids going to college at Penn State University? Why are they there? So anyway, if you want to check that whole, I'll link the entire video there to that lecture. It's pretty much keeps going on. But what's this? Hang on, let me check the professor's name again. Dr. Sam Richards. Now, Dr. Sam Richards, funny because I looked at Gad Sad's tweet about this. If you know who Gad Sad is, and he went and looked up Dr. Richards' scholarship, his writings and things like that. And Dr. Richards doesn't have anything published, like almost nothing. And I found that interesting. But anyway, FTG to Dr. Sam Richards. All right, let's move on. We're going to get through the rest of this in about 15 minutes or less because I'm way behind because of that lecture. So, by the way, if you haven't done it already, hit the like button in the chat. If you want to donate, you can do that through the super chats and stuff like that. And please share the stream, though. Share this before, during, and after the stream. That would be great. Couple more FTGs. So just learned yesterday that Senate Democrats have threatened to block 2026 World Cup's funds unless the women's soccer team gets equal pay. Now, this is a discussion we've had quite often. And I found it fascinating. A group of Senate Democrats introduced a bill Wednesday that intends to block funding for the 2026 World Cup unless the U.S. women's national team receives equal pay. And I thought to myself immediately when I saw the headline, I'm like, oh, are they going to pay them less now? Because they already made more than the men over the last cycle. They were paid more by USSF, the United States Soccer Federation. They were paid more than the men per game and overall in total compensation because it's hilarious. And listen to this. The bill dubbed the Give Our Athletes Level Salaries Act calls for prohibiting the use of funds for the 2026 World Cup unless the United States Soccer Federation provides equitable pay to the members of the United States women's national team and the United States men's national team. Now, if you will recall, the two separate unions that cover the players for the men's team and for the women's team negotiated their own contracts. The men's team is on strictly a bonus system where they only get paid if they play and or win games. They get so much for losses, so much for a win, and only if they play in the game. So if there's a member injured on the team that doesn't play in a game, they don't get paid even though they did all the training that was there. And it's strictly a bonus system. So their bonus system is a little higher per game than the women's because they don't get paid anything else. If they only get paid if they make the team and if they play. The women's team, however, negotiated a contract where the women are paid a salary if they make the team, a guaranteed $100,000 for nothing, whether they play a single game or not. And it's for 22 players. And they also get health care benefits year round. They also get retirement plans, all kinds of things, all kinds of compensation the men don't get if they don't play. So a woman, if you make the women's national team, they put 22 people on the roster. They automatically they automatically get paid, and then they also get paid bonuses for each game they play in, whether they win or lose, and so on and so on. They get so many friendlies they get paid for, whatever. But it's a lower bonus structure because they already get a guaranteed salary and other benefits. So when you add up the guaranteed salary, the other benefits, and all the games they played in the last cycle, the women's team was compensated more than the men. But there's this myth out there that's perpetuated by people like, what's that crazy Megan Rapinoe? There's this myth out there that the women get paid less because they get lower bonuses per game. Not mentioning the fact that they automatically get paid $100,000 without even setting foot on the grass. The push for equal pay for the national women's team first sparked after the team secured its 4th World Cup victory in 2019. Following the win, team co-captain Megan Rapinoe said it's time for action to secure equal pay for her and her female teammates. They got paid more than the men by the U.S. Soccer Federation. Now, and they're only talking about what they get paid by the U.S. Soccer Federation, because teams who are going to the men's teams. See, the difference between the men's and women's as far as bonuses when you get into World Cup competition, well, the difference is the women's team brought in about 120, or women's event brought in about $121 million. The entire World Cup cycle brought in $121 million. That seems like a lot of money, right? And so they get paid out of, what the revenue from the event gets, right? The Men's World Cup brought in $6 billion. Okay, so they have a much larger pool to pay bonuses and win bonus and things for the World Cup than the women's side. So this is just a joke that they keep bringing this up. They lost a lawsuit in federal court regarding this because they figured out, the women's team was paid more than the men's team by the United States Soccer Federation, because you can't control what the World Cup events pay because they have to go based on what the revenue is. Anyway, thank you, Lancelot 652 with a 10 spot through your YouTube super chat, who says, as a white guy, I'm going to oppress P-Dawg by giving him some money. LOL. Well, thank you very much. That's a good start of reparations. In fact, if any of the rest of you want to, throw out some reparations company, you think that the little old oppressed me needs some cash, I will take it of your generous sponsorship. Thank you very much, Lancelot, and welcome to the show. Oh my gosh. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, yeah. So, whoever the morons are that are writing this probably didn't pay attention. So, President Biden at the time called for equal pay for the team on the campaign trail, writing in a tweet, as we cheer them on in the World Cup, we must support their fight off the field for equal pay. They get paid more than the men. Sorry, that's just nonsense. And oh my God, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Did anyone read the judge's decision in the lawsuit that they had against the United States Soccer Federation? Apparently no one read it. I have read it. And I might even have that bookmarked somewhere here. I bet I do. Do I still have that bookmarked? Yes, here. Let me, let's see. I'm going to just put this. Where's I know I have, here's the summary judgment. Here, I'm going to have that in the tabs today. The summary judgment against let's see, is this it? Yeah, I'll put a link to this. You can read this whole thing. Their lawsuit got thrown out because they got paid more. Anyway, so FTG to all of them. I'll just put here, FTG, Senate Democrats. Right here, baby. Right here. Let's see. What else did I have bookmarked here? Oh, Congratulations, Joe Biden. Another feat by the administration and the current government. Consumer price index jumped 5% in May, the largest increase since 2008. Wow. Wow. Now, let me think about this. 2008. August 2008. Who was president then? Oh, that was Barack Obama. Yes, this is a continuation of the Obama administration. FTG to the Biden administration. There we go. FTG to the Biden administration. All right, let's keep going here. What's this one? Oh, and by the way, you remember that little drug called hydroxychloroquine that we're not supposed to talk about on YouTube? Well, here's Fauci's email that we learned what China used to treat the virus in their own country. Hydroxychloroquine. Imagine that. So this is an email from something called Peak. Let's see. And this is in Fauci's email. Dear Dr. Fauci, I am Assistant Attorney General of the states of New York and Oregon. Oh, I guess this is more than one person. I received some information that may be useful in dealing with the novel coronavirus, but I am not able to evaluate this information personally. It is in the article authored by a former Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Treasury. I would like to make this information available for you for evaluation. To that end, I am copying immediately below. Eugene Roth, Eugene, Oregon, treatment for coronavirus that have worked in China. The research paper show great antiviral promise for both hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine. The Chinese have started using them, so should we. The antiviral effects were originally discovered from Europe during SARS. In fact, Fauci wrote a paper on this in 2006. Anyway, but then forgotten about as SARS was so aggressive it killed the host too quickly and died out. The French professor Raoult and others have helped the Chinese, advising them to proceed in a way they have had a good sense to trial it. Unlike vaccines and costly new antivirals, hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine are generally safe, very well tested, cheap, and readily available today. They could be a real game changer. Please publish and disseminate. Please also refer to Blaylock cytokine paper and emphasize the importance of vitamin C, D3, etc. So anyway, Fauci knew about that too. In fact, Fauci wrote about this in 2006 about how it seemed as a what do they call it? A prophylactic against this is the first SARS, and it's SARS coronavirus, because it was helpful then and probably helpful now, but Trump said it, so never mind. So FTG to Fauci, which is basically a daily thing. And hashtag resist fascism. There we go. Let's see. What else do I got here? I'm going to try to get through these pretty quick. Oh, this is a good one. And since we're on Let's Be Against White People Day, and I'm sorry, I'm not a white guy. Should affect me, right? I don't know. Anyway, Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Rhodes, commander of the I-8 Infantry Fighting Eagles, has a message for all serving in the military. If you're white,
You're fucking a white male!
you're the problem. It was recently discovered that Rhodes, who holds a position of authority and responsibility, runs a private, woke, left-wing Twitter account under the name Drew Rhodes. If the Twitter account wasn't enough to convince you of his radical beliefs, his comment at a military function should do the job. If you're a white male, you're part of the problem. So here's something he wrote. I know let's see. Oh, no, this is something else. He has also reportedly added that only 0.1% of racist accusations are false. and that he would always believe someone coming forward about an uncomfortable situation. The story began circulating on social media with one Instagram post catching up some important attention. Looks like Fort Carson got themselves a real gem of an unbiased commander, the post reads. I hope you're not white or ever accused of anything while you're in his command. You're already guilty and you didn't even know it. This is Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Rhodes, the commander of 1-8 Infantry. Looks like Fort. Okay, that's the same sentence. The post caught the eye of a current Sergeant Major of the Army, Michael A. Grinston. Looking more into this, he wrote, thanks. If it's true, he said, that if you're a white male and you're part of the problem, then he's creating a division within his formation. It's the exact opposite of what the Army has been trying to do with inclusion efforts, an active duty Army officer told Human Events. Inclusion is for everyone and not discriminatory in regards to race, gender, sexual preference, or any characteristic. It appears he lost trust from many of his subordinates on day one. So anyway, what's his name? Oops, I didn't want to do that. I don't need that. Hang on. So his name, Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Rhodes. Yes, here he goes. I mean, we're going to give him a little, FTG. There we go. The FTG Lieutenant Colonel, whatever his name. Oh, I messed that up. Oh, Lieutenant Battalion Level Commander. Yeah. FTG Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Rhodes. Also, in that same realm, Republican representative sends letter to West Point demanding they stop teaching critical race theory. Republican Florida Representative Mike Waltz sent a letter to West Point calling for the institution to terminate the instruction of critical race theory. In his letter to West Point Superintendent Lieutenant General Darrell Williams, obtained by Fox News Wednesday, Representative Waltz inquired as to whether the military academy will continue to include critical race theory in its curriculum and warned of the dangers of the teachings pose to the future of the nation. Florida Representative stated that such instruction puts the nation on incredibly perilous ground if any future leaders of our military are taught that the civilian institutions and structures which have ultimate authority over them are systemically oppressive and that they therefore have a duty to oppose them. The underlying piece of critical race theory is that civilian institutions in this country are inherently misogynist, racist, and colonialist, and therefore it is our duty to resist them. That is fine for activists, but one of these cadets is going to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and being taught that the Constitution is critically flawed, Walt said during an interview with Fox News on Wednesday. That, to me, is terrifying and destructive. So there's not really an FTG there, and I'm not going to FTG West Point, but they need to, if that's something they're teaching, perhaps it should be fixed. And there's hints that it might be being taught because West Point knew the commie cadet was an avowed Marxist and graduated him anyway. This kid, he graduates from West Point and flips over his hat and says, communism will win. West Point knew they had an anti-American commie cadet on their hands back in 2015 and went ahead and graduated him in May of 2016 anyway, according to news reports. Spencer Rapone, now a second lieutenant in the 2nd Brigade, hang on a second here. In the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 10th Mountain Division at Fort Drum, became the subject of an Army investigation after several of his pro-communism messages on social media were publicized last month, spurring a firestorm of disapproval in the conservative media. Rapone, who goes by Punk Proletarian, is now a private... on his now private Twitter account, has indicated in a post online that he's a socialist organizer. Oops, what did I do there? Sorry. That he's a socialist organizer for the Democratic Socialists of America, an Antifa supporter. What the hell's going on here? Oh, there we go. I see what happened. Hang on. Hit the wrong button there. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so he's a socialist organizer for the Democratic Socialists of America, Antifa supporter, and a Che Guevara fan who has contempt for the United States military. Isn't he special? Why is he in the military? God, my God. Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Robert Heffington, who taught history at the Academy, wrote in a sworn statement in November 2015 that Rapone's disrespectful attitude and social media activity were reason for grave concern. The purpose of the statement was to document potential criminal activity involving the U.S. military and to allow Army officials to maintain discipline, law, and order through investigation of complaints and incidents. From his various online rantings and posts, it appears that that CDC Rapone is an avowed Marxist, which is completely out of line with the values of this nation and its Army. Heffington wrote, moreover, CDT Rapone's posts indicate that he hates West Point, the U.S. Army, and indeed this country. One post date 16 November states, "Fuck this country and its false freedom." Well, and I say, FTG, Spencer Rapone, which I already put in the chat. Fuck that guy. Also, there's a problem in the Department of Defense. They have an extremism working group. Confirms the fear of a free speech crackdown. On Wednesday, the First Liberty Institute General Counsel Mike Berry participated in the Department of Defense's Countering Extremism Working Group. Berry, a former active duty Marine Corps officer, told PJ Media that the meeting confirmed some of the fears he had expressed in March, specifically about how the military's crackdown on, quote, extremism, end quote, threatens service members' free speech. Back in March, Berry testified that those who would use, threaten, or advocate violence to accomplish their political objectives should have no place in the ranks. Yet, he also insisted we should reject any attempt to weaponize anti-extremism efforts against classes of people simply because those in authority disapprove of them. PJ Media asked Berry if any discussions confirmed the fears he expressed in March. Quote, yes, specifically I'm concerned by the Department of Defense's intent to monitor service member social media to identify extremism, the ex-Marine said. Multiple groups expressed concern about how the Department of Defense will balance First Amendment rights with efforts to combat extremism. They're just on a big push to... They're on a big push, and I'm sorry. I want guys in the military who can shoot straight and shoot the right person, and that's what we need in our military. Thank you, GunFox61, with an almost 5. And GunFox61, since you are on Streamlabs,
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
thank you, sir. GunFox, who says all commies should get the lead pill on the spot. In Minecraft, of course, better dead than red. Keep on watch. At the red are out there. Yeah, I don't think we need this young man in the military. I'm sorry. If he hates the country, he's in the wrong place, Johnny. There's a article in Front Page about critical race theory's Marxist roots. If you want to read that, I'm not going to get into that one today, but I found it interesting. Also on the doc here, there's another one of these pushes. Watch Survivor of Mao's. Wait, yeah, this is good. So this person is a survivor of Mao's China and stuns a school board with a chilling warning about critical race theory. Listen to this. How long is this? It's only a minute long. Here's listen to this. Oh, damn it. Is this Daily Wire? God, I hate the Daily Wire. They annoy the hell out of me. I don't know why they make it so you can't listen to them on the Daily Wire for some reason. I think Twitter has their what do they call it when you embed videos? They have it blocked. Here, listen to this.
You are now training our children to be social justice.
Hang on a second here. This is a woman who got out of China and is now speaking to a school board.
I've been very alarmed about what's going on in our school. You are now training our children to be social justice warriors and to loathe our country and our history. Growing up in Mao's China, all this seemed very familiar. The communist regime used the same critical theory to divide people. The only difference is they use class instead of race. During the Cultural Revolution, I witnessed students and teachers turn against each other. We changed school names to be politically correct. We were taught to denounce our heritage. The Red Guards destroy anything that is not communist, old statues, books, and anything else. We are also encouraged to report on each other, just like the Student Equity Ambassador Program and the bias reporting system. This is indeed the American version of the Chinese Cultural Revolution. The critical race theory has its roots in cultural Marxism. It should have no place in our schools.
Yes, now I added my own cheer in there. More power to that woman. Give her a medal, please. All right, let me just tell you what's else in the other tabs, and I'm not getting to it. Unvaccinated students are numbered with a Sharpie and tracked at a high school prom. Unvaccinated students attending Exeter, New Hampshire high school prom were numbered with Sharpie pen and then tracked throughout the evening, a New Hampshire parent right advocate reported. Anne Marie Banfield, who writes on the blog Granite Grok, reported New Hampshire Representative Melissa Litchfield, who represents the Brentwood District, posted on Facebook Tuesday that some constituents informed her their unvaccinated students who attended the Exeter High School prom Monday night had a number written on them in Sharpie and then were tracked throughout the evening. Litchfield continued with some quotes from angry constituents. Here's just one of them. You can read the rest yourself. If they were there on the dance floor, they had to raise their hands after every 3 songs so their numbers could be recorded by other underclass students for contract tracing purposes. There's even more to the story, but this alone is surprising to us. We truly feel they are literally branding our kids if they don't get the experimental emergency-proof vaccine. This is just scary. FTG to the, what is this school? Exeter, New Hampshire School District, FTG. I'll just put the FTG there, but holy shit. Can you believe it? Also, let's see. More on Fauci. Oh, speaking of Dr. Fauci, FTG, Dr. Fauci, apparently he headlined a conference with the Bat Lady. You know who the Bat Lady is? You know, the one who was... the one who was doing all those experiments over there at the Wuhan, whatever, virology lab. Dr. Anthony Fauci headlined a 2017 conference starring researchers central to COVID-19's origin and subsequent cover-up, including EcoHealth Alliance President Peter Daszak and top Wuhan lab researcher Xi Zhengli. The National Post can exclusively reveal China's Center for Disease Control and Prevention's director, George Gao, who emailed Dr. Fauci to thank him for publicly dismissing the Wuhan Institute of Virology's role in creating COVID-19, was responsible for organizing the 2017 conference alongside other scientists. 2017. Now, what had happened? What's happened in 2017? That something else happened that year that was significant. What was that? What was it? Oh, wait, wasn't that the year that we had the guy with the funny hair, this president? That was his first year, wasn't it? And wasn't it that Fauci who said that not only would we see more, different variations of flu or whatever, we would for sure see some sort of new disease pandemic during Trump's tenure? Go figure. Keynote speaker, Dr. Anthony S. Fauci from the United States. Good Lord. And there's Xi Zhengli right there. And Daszak. Oh my gosh, this is the den of thieves. Anyway, you can check out that article from the National Post. Also, speaking of Fauci, apparently he thinks now, he told Reason Magazine, that he's so tiresome. He's saying that the rubes attacking him, if you attack Dr. Fauci, if you question Dr. Fauci at all, you're attacking science. She blinded me with science. She blinded me with science. Yes. Here's the key line. As opposed to key lime. Oh, come on. Let's see if hopefully this, I don't know how long this is.
Now you're at the focal point. What is your level of concern that we're going to discredit public health officials to the point of, look at Russia.
Oh, wait, whoa, wait a minute. Discredit public health officials? You mean any public health official, or specifically this terror gnome? Welcome to the terror gnome. Thank you, Randy Monkey. I stole that from you. This terror gnome. Not just, listen to Chuck Todd, come on.
Now you're at the focal point. What is your level of concern that we're going to discredit public health officials to the...
No! Not any public health officials, just the welcome to the terror gnome.
Point of, look at Russia. They actually have a good vaccine, and none of their citizens will take it because they don't trust their own government.
Oh, Chuck. Look at Russia. You guys been looking at Russia for about 5 years, 6 years now. And how do you know they're not taking it? How do you, what? Oh my God. They don't ask you if you want to take it in Russia. They tell you when you're going to take it. But I digress.
Right. It's very dangerous, Chuck, because a lot of what you're seeing...
Very dangerous to question me, Chuck, because I am the greatest scientific mind on the history of the planet. Oh, wait. It's very dangerous, Chuck, to question this because I am the greatest scientific mind on the planet.
As attacks on me, quite frankly, are attacks on science.
Oh, attacks on me are attacks on science. What? You are not science, sir. You are one flippity-floppity, change your mind every month guy who makes hunches and guesses, and you resist Faucism, please.
Because all of the things that I have spoken about,
all of them,
consistently from the very beginning,
all of them
have been fundamentally based on science.
Bullshit. That's straight bullshit. Really? How about your original position on masks? Was that based on science or public pressure? Because you later told us that you basically told us you lied about masks. Which is it, Dr. Fauci? Which one was based on science? When you said not everyone should be walking around wearing masks, you might be touching them, you don't even wear them right, they don't help you anything, they don't protect you from the virus because the virus particles are too small, they go right through the mask, they could only help if someone who has symptoms, maybe mitigate their protrudence of the virus. And then later you said, well, that was just because we didn't think we had enough what did he say? Because we didn't have enough PPE for our health professionals, so we didn't want to use them up. Was that based on science, Dr. Fauci? I don't think so. How about the other part, Dr. Fauci? When you said that we would be at herd immunity if we get 50% of the country vaccinated. And then you later said, well, we're going to be about 60 to 70%. And then, well, no, then we're going to, if we get 80%, because I just have a hunch. Which science do your hunches include? Is that based on science? What is a hunch? Is that what science is now, Dr. Fauci? A hunch? And guess what? Is science static, Dr. Fauci? Is science that, or do you learn new things as you go along? Are there different hypotheses? Do different scientists come to different conclusions? Do different medical professionals come to different conclusions? And whose medical conclusions are priority to you? Yours or your hunches or the ones who've done studies on different drugs? For example, the ones that you're not supposed to talk about anymore on YouTube, but suddenly you can talk about them again because some new study says they're okay. Which science are you talking about, Mr. Welcome to the Terranome? You piece of crap. You wonder why no one has faith in you. Well, questioning me is just like questioning science. Fuck you.
Sometimes those things were inconvenient truths for people.
Or inconvenient hunches.
And there was pushback against me. So if you are trying to, get at me as a public health official and a scientist, you're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science.
You're attacking science. Wait a minute. You mean how about, okay, let's talk about the lab that you said, oh, there's no way that this is going to come from that lab. Now all of a sudden you want the lab investigated? Which science told you that we should now investigate the lab? Because you've gotten so much publicity, since you've gotten so much attention from the media, suddenly you are science? Is science your God, or are you the God? And whose science? Because there's been studies all over the world that contradict some of the shit you've been saying for the last year. Science? Whose science? You are not science, Dr. Fauci. Oh my God.
Looks at what's going on, clearly sees that. You have to be asleep not to see that.
Yeah, you have to be asleep not to see that you're full of shit. I might get in trouble for this one. We'll see. Fuck him. Good God. What an asshole. You know what? I think Dr. Anthony Fauci's press is getting to his head. The adoration that people have for this nitwit. The man who's changed his changed his mind on so many things, and changes the science changes with Dr. Fauci's hunches. And most of your hunches, I'm going to guess, have been wrong. Kind of like when you were in charge of AIDS, too. Remember that, Dr. Fauci? Why this man has a job, I have no idea. All right, the other articles that are in here, DeSantis tears into Fauci after leaked emails like reignite Wuhan leak theory. Also on the Daily Wire, hospital workers face termination over refusal to get the stab. Also, protesters were forcibly cleared. Oh, and apparently protesters were not forcibly cleared from Lafayette Park because of Trump photo op, according to a new report from, who's this? A report released Wednesday by Mark Greenblatt. The Interior Department Inspector General determined that park police were given permission to and carried out clearing the park long before anyone knew the former president had plans to walk over. So that myth is exactly what it is, a myth. And then finally, the last thing that'll be in the link today will be the summary judgment that the U.S. women's soccer team received when they were, when their lawsuit got kicked to the curb. So FTG to the U.S., not just the whole U.S. women's soccer team, but specifically Megan Rapinoe. So FTG, Megan Rapinoe. All right, that's it for today, gang. I got to call it a day. Thank you so much. Higgs in the house. Higgarama says, Faucism 14.6. Fauci answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the science except through me. Yes, because Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci, am truly the God of science. So if you criticize me, you're criticizing science. She blinded me with science. Da, da, da. Thank you, Hig. And Hig,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
All right, guys, I'm way over. I'm already going to be late to my other job, but I don't, you know what? I care, but I do this for you. So thank you so much for the sponsors today. For Rodline, Select a Boy, Black Hebrew Israelite, Lancelot, Gunfox 61, and Hig. I know your motorhome probably has a horn that sounds like that, so I'm giving you one. All right, guys, I gotta go. Thanks so much for being here today. I'll have the links in the tab a little bit later this afternoon, so if you come back, because I got really actually just literally have to close down and run. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow on Friday, Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central on the Morning Night Live. Thank you for being here, and those in the chat and whatnot. Hit the like, share, donations, information below, and put a comment in the comment section if you're watching off the replay. So thanks, everybody. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.